Hello there. In this video we'll look at adding the textures and the materials to the walls. And I won't do it completely, but you'll get the idea here. Now, since we're basically done with the structure, I'm just going to make this window as big as possible, the perspective window, because this is what we're going to be using to add the textures. Now, we've got our two rooms here. I'll just decorate the first room and just sort of point out a few things. So to get the textures, under the View window, Browser window, the Content Browser. And in the Content Browser, you should see about 5,000 items. If you don't, let me know and I can help you find them. If you're having troubles, make sure all of these are off and that you've clicked All Assets. Okay, that'd be one thing. Otherwise, let me know. Click on Materials here, and you're given a huge variety of materials, okay? And you could spend some time, I mean, there's about 800 of them, looking through and finding ones that work best, okay? Some of them will be useful for putting on the walls, some not so much. But, you know, you just sort of have to look and see what you'd like to use. Now, first thing I'm going to do is go to the wall, or search for wall, and that will give me a bunch of different wall materials. But you could find something different if you want to. Okay, this is just an example here. So if you find something that you like this bunker wall, you just simply click on it and drag it and place it on a surface. Now I'm going to do it to the other one here as well, so we get a full nice clean wall. So back out a little bit here. Okay, let me just put it on this wall here. Alright, so close that up. I've got this. Now, it looks okay, but there's stuff that you can do to it to make it better. So if you can either right click and go to Surface Properties or just double click, either way. And there's two things that we'll deal with usually. Now, there's a lot of other options here. Don't worry so much about them unless you really want to get into it. But the two things that we have to worry about are the alignment and options here, really this option here for the tiles, and then your panning and maybe your rotation, depending on what you want to do. So first let's deal with this. Now these are tiled, so basically one picture is put side by side to fill up the whole area. And you can change the size of the tiles. And basically U represents the horizontal, V represents the vertical, okay? And so you want to make sure that you use you change both of them up equally, okay, or else you'll mess around with it. If I do it just with one, it stretches it in just one. So I'm going to click on this one as well and set that to 0.25. Okay, and then to make sure it works, or make sure to see what it looks like, hit apply, or else nothing happens. And so when you hit apply there, and I'll just close this off, you can see that it looks a lot better. Okay, you can actually see the materials on it, and so that seems to work well. Now, the other thing that you might want to do is play with the panning. And so, for example, if I go with the U and I move it over, say 16 units, you can see it moving left or right. Okay, if I hold Shift, it will move right or left, I guess, and then up and down, same idea. Okay, and you can move it so that maybe I want this on the bottom, or whatever the case might be. Okay, so it's sort of up to you a little bit. And a lot of this is up to you, what you think looks good. Now you could flip it as well. Doesn't really work in this situation, but you might. Okay, depending on what the situation is. So that gets one wall done. Now obviously you want to do the other walls. Now you could go back to the Content Browser and do the same process again. Or the easiest thing to do is once you're happy with that, go Control Copy, and then click on the next wall, Control V, so just to cut and paste. And very quickly, okay, and this one over here is still the old style. Oops, sorry, I've gone out. So back in there. Okay, it was the old one. So I'm just going to Control V on this one too. So you can overwrite your material. All right. So that looks pretty good. And then you can start to think about what you might want to do with the other ones as well. Now, because we haven't built the lighting and we haven't dealt with lighting yet, things will look a little bit different later on. One key thing to keep in mind, though, is that there are lots of little spots here that you'll need to drag in. This surface here is going to be different from the floors, okay? And there's also a spot up here that we'll need to add materials to. And so if I check on the unlit, then you can see that there. It makes everything a little bit too bright, but now you can see that this hasn't been material and so on. Okay, so I'm going to do a floor for you as well, just to give you the idea. So again, bring up that content browser, and I've actually brought it down here. Okay, and so I could search for a floor. Okay, and then maybe drag this over. And again, I'm not worried too much, but maybe this tile here, throw it on there. Yeah, well, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and you might want to do something different up here. I'm just going to go into this one. And, you know, like I'm just sort of looking to see. Maybe, I don't know. I might even go for some sort of metal grating. That might look a little bit better because it's kind of up top. Okay, so maybe something like that. And again, I could play with the tiles. So if I double click, right, maybe let's say try applying the 0.25. Might be a bit too big. 0.5. Apply there. Maybe something like that. Okay, so just sort of go through and see what you can do. And like I said, don't forget to do these ones as well. So I might just apply this to there as well. Something like that. Okay, and then you're going to have to come around and do it. And I would, for all the places there, I would change that up. Let me just take this up here too. Maybe something like that. Okay, and the roof. I don't know if there's anything neat on the ceiling. Well, I don't know. Up to you. Right? I mean, it's going to be your room there. Now, what some people do is that they find some neat textures. Let me just find something. Close-up rocks. Kind of looks like water or stars. Distant flare shock. Maybe I'll try that one. And they put it up here. And, okay, that's not what they want. And so sometimes you can click on it. Sometimes you can't if they're translucent materials. And that's what I'm really looking for here. So this one's maybe moving along. Okay. Okay, so sometimes you can't select things. And so if that happens, just click on the Allow Translucent selection there, okay? And then that should let you select it if that's clicked on. All right, so you can do fun things like that if you'd like. And you might just want to play from here and just check to see what it looks like. Now the lighting will look weird sometimes. And that's, like I said, because we haven't rebuilt the lighting yet, okay? So I'm not going to do this room. You can continue on. Make it how you want, okay? And later on you can add more rooms if that's what you want to do. Okay, so that's it for this video. Next we'll talk about putting in static meshes, and so we'll see you in the next video.